Alrighty, and the morning has begun. We are leaving dialysis, dropping Walt off, and going to the grocery store. I must say that I'm relieved that my father has actually verbalized, because he doesn't verbalize things very often, or very well when he does, that he feels better with dialysis. I thought he would. I knew what people's stories about dialysis were, and that more often than not they weren't very good. But I couldn't help but think that ridding your body of those toxins has to make you feel better. I know the process to get there isn't great, and people talk about the day of dialysis, they're just exhausted. But he was not doing anything anyway. It's not like he's got to go home and, I don't know, take care of a house, clean up anything, cook anything. So, the first couple of times he had dialysis, we would come home and he would want to go and go back to bed. And he did. And then after like twice, he just kind of, I think, realized that he wasn't really that tired. And he just gets in his chair like he would anyway and sits and watches TV all day. How exhausting can that be, really? I mean, you and I both know that there is a certain part of that is exhausting, to just sit and do nothing. But anyway, so I am relieved that he's verbalized that he feels better, because it does make me feel maybe a little less guilt about being so grateful for this time free of caring for him. Because it gets tiresome. Not probably more so mentally and emotionally than physically tiresome. Sometimes it's physically tiresome. Sometimes I just don't feel well. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, my feet are killing me already. And so the last thing I want to do is get out of bed. But I gotta, because I got somebody waiting for breakfast and coffee and pills and chews and all that good stuff. Days like today, waiting for a trip to dialysis. Anyway, so I am grateful that dialysis seems to be doing him well. We do have another trip to Spartanburg this week, and I'm going to guess that after that we're going to have another trip to Spartanburg in the very near future, because this trip is kind of just a follow-up of Friday's surgery, and to schedule the next little procedure. I don't want to call them surgeries. They're saying it's surgery, but it is more of just a procedure to me, but whatever. Like I had a very similar thing on my heart. I don't call that a surgery. It was a procedure. But whatever. So, Friday, I go back to work and hustle home and get him ready to roll and go to Spartanburg. And go from there. I really wish I would have known it was going to rain today, because yesterday I just kept saying I should cut the grass. Nah, we'll do it tomorrow. And I don't know why. I don't know why I put it off yesterday. I mean, yesterday was a busy day. I did lots of laundry. I gave Walt a shower and changed his sheets and all that. So it's not like I wasn't doing anything. And I let him sleep late again, which I really can't let that demon rise up again. I don't know why he did it, but yeah, he was in his room. He wasn't sleeping. He was in his room and didn't come out. I don't want to go in there and get him if I don't have to, knowing what he's probably doing. But yeah, so for whatever reason, I chose not to cut the grass yesterday, and now it's raining, and raining a lot. I didn't realize. I guess I just didn't pay as close of attention to the weather as I thought I did. But no cutting the grass today, so I don't know what else I'm gonna do. I got I was going to start dinner in the crock pot this morning, but the meat was still just a little too frozen for me, so figured I'd give it a couple more hours and then do it. It's beef, so it'll have enough time to cook. And we've gotten rid of most of the leftovers here lately, so I'll either have beef tonight or some leftovers from yesterday, which I didn't have any of to begin with because I was eating leftovers. Growing up, my mother was always gun shy of giving my father leftovers. I don't know if he had made enough of an asshole of himself about eating leftovers that she just didn't even want to listen to it, or if she was making it out more than it was. But I've always just been, in my brain at least, said that Walt doesn't do leftovers, but sometimes he's got to. But last night I ate leftovers for something that I had made just for him, and I like it too. I just made it just for him, and I guess I kind of halfway forgot that it was in the fridge, and when I saw it I was like, that's what I'm having for dinner. I started making tuna salad a little differently. He likes it, and I think it's way better this way. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I have some low-carb wraps. I put some lettuce and tomato and a little bit of white American on there. Had a couple of tuna salad wraps. Mayonnaise, celery, garlic powder, onion powder, Dijon mustard. Yeah, it was good. Anywho, I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. Kind of hate going to the grocery store when it's raining because it means you got to come out with a whole bunch of stuff and it's raining. But it's better than having to do it on a Wednesday when old people don't want to let you in. And hopefully at this time of day it won't be very busy. And yeah, it's a little busy, not too bad. But anyway, so that's it for this morning so far. I'll let you know if anything earth-shattering happens. Alright, so before I forget, I've come up with an idea that somebody needs to get on. And if you want to kick me a couple bucks when you make $1 billion, I'd be cool with that. So, when you go to the grocery store, sometimes you're there for an hour. I don't have an electric vehicle, so I really don't know what the whole process is like of charging and all that stuff. But it seems like while you're in the grocery store shopping, you ought to be able to park in a spot that gives you a ticket, like a claim ticket or whatever you want to call it. And while you're in the store, you're charging your vehicle. Somehow it's secure, whatever. And when you go to check out, you give them that ticket. They can check to see how much you've drawn on the power or whatever. I don't know how all that stuff works. But I'm assuming most places aren't going to let you charge for free. But if your car's parked sitting there anyway, why not kill two birds with one stone? The more electric cars are on the road, it seems like that might be a thing of the future. I'm not generally one to come up with things for the future. I will tell you a story. One time, I don't know what got in my head. I used to like to take stuff apart and see all the parts inside, play with the magnets and the springs and whatever. I didn't do it a whole lot, but I remember several specific things that I took apart and examined like that. And it must have been one of those times where I got it in my head. I got thinking about all that stuff. And I used to like a particular radio that my parents had because it was low profile. It could kind of slide under my bed and I could plug it in and nobody knew I had it, and I could listen to that devil music. And I thought, man, if you could just have something anything, not just a radio, but whatever, that was, you plugged it in, it charged up, and then you could just take it and go. You didn't need batteries or a cord. You could charge the device itself. And which is what we do now, right? I mean, that's kind of what we do with damn near everything, especially our phones. And I know there's a battery in there, but it's not like a battery you buy at the store or replace any more than necessary. Thank you, Apple, for doing that to people. Anyway, so I approached my father about it. I asked him, and I told him my thought. It's like, yeah, but what if there's a way to, there's some sort of capacity in this thing to hold power, and he gave me so much shit. And then he gets this is his way of argument. But you just can't. It doesn't happen. You can't do that. Over and over. Like every time I try to say, but what if? Oh, damn. That's one of the times in my life that I point to for a reason as to why I don't have any kind of creativity. It was stifled in me at a very young age to not be creative and think of new things. Oh my God, my father. I know I'll miss him when he's gone, but right now it sure does present a bright future. Holy shit. Anyway, so it did take a little bit longer, just a few minutes, than it should have at the store. Stopped to talk to one of my favorite Publix employees, and had to stop for some scratch offs. But I also had to I'll put quotes around that. Had to sit and watch for whoever it was that was driving the very nice Lexus SUV that was parked so cockeyed in the parking space that 3 of their 4 wheels were not inside the lines. It looked like they came down the aisle the wrong way and just whipped into that spot, which also happened to be the handicap spot. There were no other handicap spots available at the time except way off to the side, which in the rain, no thanks. And I sat there for a minute thinking, okay, so what if they do come out? What are you going to say? Would it just make me feel better about myself that they did? Oh, 0 indicator on the vehicle that they are in fact handicapped. Not a handicap license, not a handicap placard hanging from their mirror. And to me, if you don't have either one of those, you're a piece of shit if you park in a handicap spot. My truck has a handicap license plate because it's still licensed or registered to my father. And I have a handicap placard because of my own feet issues. So I am entitled to that space. Do I always need it? No. Do I always use it? Most of the time. Not always. But when I see somebody who's not giving me indication that they have a right to use that spot, kind of pisses me off a little bit. So anywho, I am going to go home and start dinner in the crock pot, and I guess I'll get some exercise because that did not take quite as long as I might have thought. Yeah, so that's all for now. All right, 3 videos in one day. Wow. All right, it is 1:30. I am leaving the house to go pick up my father. I got a lot done. I came home from the grocery store. Before I even got out of my vehicle, I had a message from my BetterHelp therapist. So I went back and forth with her a little bit until I told her that I was multitasking like a boss and couldn't chat anymore. Because my multitasking included getting dinner in the crock pot, getting the groceries put away, making croutons. What else was I doing? Oh, after the croutons came out of the oven, I put dirt in the oven. More on that later. What else did I do? There's a couple other things I got squeezed in there. Anyway, so stayed busy. Got my 45 minutes of cardio and 100 kettlebell swings before I needed to turn the oven off, start the coffee, and get in the truck. So Walt only had, well, he did have pretty much a full cup of coffee, but I thought I didn't have any, so I started a pot right as I was leaving, and if he wants more, he can have more, but I got to have some breakfast, and he might want some coffee. Putting the groceries away, decided that because I was starving and I knew I was going to exercise, so I had one of my 1.1 ounce bag of dots, which I love, and about, I don't know, 6 or 8 little sliced turkey pepperoni. Saw a thing yesterday on Instagram Reels talking about turkey pepperoni, and I just felt like I wanted to try one. Oh, look at that, a Tesla truck, the first one I've seen in Greenville. Anyway, and I decided that little portion of carb and fat and protein was going to be enough for me to call it breakfast. So anyway, that was my breakfast. When I got done with my swings, I decided to have a protein drink, but I'm going to want something else to eat in a little while, and we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so that's that. That's all for now. I wonder if he's in there yet. No, don't see him. All right, so anyway, busy. I would like to watch Champions League this afternoon. Harry Kane, hoping he can do what he has done many times before against Arsenal, but we'll see. Also got some other things I'm going to make, and meal prep, shall we call it. And that might be it for today. Thanks. See ya. Move for the people. Show them. There you go. Show them you're still alive. I'm taking good care of you. We've named him Nolan. Go ahead, Nolan. Go around, check out the digs.